our Toronto Raptors are now one game back of the 6th seed Cleveland
Oh,
Cavaliers.
yeah,
Kind of a Fred VanVleet, OG were both injured. Kind of a scary dip, kind of a scary string of bad games.
yeah,
But some awesome play. Fred returned for one game. Some
yeah,
awesome play from Pascal Siakam and Scottie Barnes and Chris Boucher and Malachi Flynn. Like a bunch of guys just have stepped up and they put together a winning streak. And it looks like they're back to their winning ways. Who
yeah.
knows when OG is going to be back? Those finger injuries are so tricky. Um, but yeah, Raptors one game back of the 6th seed.
Man, important has Scottie Barnes' defense, like
Yeah.
his improvement and everything? Like that was the reason why Mobley was kind of running with the rookie of the year. But
Right.
Scottie Barnes, the last couple of games, like those clutch steals, full court pressure, switches and blocks, like he's become very elite on defense. And Pascal Siakam's playmaking improvement has
Oh
been
yeah.
probably the most underrated thing this whole season. He's been
Mm-hmm.
able to find dimes, find pick and roll situations. Like he's been able to do everything, and his rebounding has been very good too. Like even though he doesn't get like crazy amount of rebounding stats, if you watch the game, you can see how well he boxes out, how well he fronts players. Like when they were playing Jokic, it was like him, Thad Young, Scottie Barnes. They were all fronting Jokic in the fourth quarter and got him 0 points. They're fronting and doubling and causing other guys to beat them. And you know, they Nuggets couldn't get Jokic to score. They couldn't get Jokic going, and that caused them to win that game. So they have a great coach in Nick Nurse who can make those adjustments. They have a bunch of 6'9" bodies, like the Raptors fan base like to joke about. But yeah, it's working out. Thad Young has been a pretty good bench player. Chris Boucher had a great game against Denver Nuggets. Ken Birch has been playing pretty awful, but he's he plays hard. So we'll give him that. Precious shooting like 40% from three
Yeah.
now. Like
Yeah. Forgot to mention
crazy
him. Yeah.
amount. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
shooting crazy from the three ball.
Yeah.
I just named everyone I named was above 6'8".
Yeah.
Like that's how crazy this team is.
Yeah.
And the player I didn't name is the player that actually had the 40-point game, Gary Trent Jr. His confidence is improving. His defense is still there. Very good. Once this team gets a fully healthy Fred VanVleet, who could play night in, night out,
Mm-hmm.
and OG Anunoby returns, this team is going to be a fun team. I obviously don't expect him to make a playoff run, but getting in the playoffs and pushing either a third seed or a second seed to 6, 7 games will be a successful season. And I think be a lot of good growth for the young big three of Gary, OG, and
Mm-hmm.
Scottie.
Yeah. Agreed. A few things. Number one, what we're seeing from Siakam from in terms of playmaking is like I never thought we would see this level from him. Like he truly looks like a point guard. Like he looks like he's been playing. He hasn't been playing basketball his whole life, but he looks like just the things he's seeing, the chemistry he has with Scottie Barnes when it's kind of been everything relying on them these last few games. It's crazy. Last 2 games, 7 assists, 10 assists. He's averaging in the month of March 26, 7 boards and 5 assists on 39% from 3 and 49% from the field. Like this is the best we've ever seen him play. Yeah. I didn't ever think we would see a Pascal Siakam that could, without a point guard on the floor, carry the entire team by himself.
Exactly.
I never thought we would see that. And then number 2, Scottie Barnes. This could be what he needs to. We had a clip out the other week of can he overtake Evan Mobley for Rookie of the Year, right? And this might be exactly what he needs. They're one game back of Evan Mobley's Cavs right now. His defense has been unbelievable.
Yep.
With injuries to the roster, he's been stepping up and being maybe sometimes the second best player, sometimes the best player on the floor. And it's crazy. The last point I want to make is early in the season when they were winning games, some of the guys like Delano Banton would step up, like Malachi sometimes, but he wasn't really playing. You know, Precious wasn't very good early on, but now like Malachi's playing awesome, Precious is playing awesome. Banton's not like hasn't been maybe as relied on upon as he was early in the season. So once Fred comes back, once the whole roster is back in there healthy, who do you think are like the main go-to bench
off
guys? Say we have like an 8-man rotation. Who do you think is like the main guys off the bench?
I think Thad, Precious have locked in their kind of starts there. I think Chris Boucher will get a couple minutes too. And I think Malachi Flynn will round out kind of like the guard level of the backup bench. But yeah, I really think we're going to run, Thad. We're going to run those big lineups, but like when Thad comes in for like Gary or something like that, or maybe even when Thad comes in for Freddie sometimes. we're gonna run those big lineups with that.
Right.
Boucher's gonna come in sometimes at like the power forward spot. Precious gonna come back as a backup center, and Malachi Flynn's gonna take up a lot of those backup point guard roles. I think Cambridge this season, I think his knee, I don't know what's with him right now, but like he can't make that pot shot right now, which he's usually so good at making. Just that little simple floater right under the rim when someone finds him. Like he's struggling with that shot and he's struggling with his mid range a little bit. And even his just quickness isn't there. I think his knee's still bothering him. So I think come playoff time, and if we're all healthy, hopefully we are, I think he will get cut from the rotation.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It just seems like month to month, it's a different guy who's kind of stepping up. But Gary Trent Jr. has been kind of the one
consistent.
Other players have been consistent, but he's kind of been the he hasn't gone anywhere all year. Like all he does with an increased role is get better and get more efficient, and his defense has been there the entire year. And how do we need to reevaluate what we think of him as a player? Like, how good is Gary Trent Jr.?
Yeah, me and you were like so mad when this contract got announced. Because we knew he was gonna outgrow it. We were like, man, it's only 3 years and it's what 2 year plus a player option. So next year, like he's gonna get a huge paycheck after next season, right?
Yeah.
And we're like, damn, man, I wish we locked him in for 5 years or something, right? But we clap flexibility. We kind of expected this from him. Like he was already such a good player, and then you give him time with the Raptors organization and the Raptors player development. He's only 22 years old. Like you give him time with all that, and he's gonna just get so much better and better. And he's just a high volume scorer from the shooting guard spot who could play great defense. So like he's a 3-and-D with high volume. So like that's exactly what you need. I'll call him like his potential is like all the way up to like poor man's Klay Thompson. And he's already better than like a championship level Danny Green. He's already better than that. Yeah. So somewhere in that range he could be, and man, it'll just be fun to see what he fully achieves.
Yeah, it's crazy because before he came here, he was never thought of as a defensive player. I mean, granted, he was only 22 or 21 when he came here.
Guarding small forwards.
Yeah, exactly, right? But it goes to show how much coaching system fit and maybe just change the scenery can really bring out the best in a player.
Yeah.
Because now, like, if you're just looking at him, like you said, he's one of the best perimeter defenders in the league this year.
Easily.
Amazing shooter, high volume scorer. He's putting up 40-point games like it's nothing. And
exactly,
yeah, it's crazy. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here so you never miss the best clips from Stretch the Floor. Hit the links in the description below to find us on all podcast platforms, and follow us on Instagram.